So what I found interesting about the play is how Elliott's youthful innocence and vigor is shown by the emotional stakes being raised in the play, where Marine descends into hell, and that inevitable brush with death raises questions about the cycle of suffering the men and his family have all undergone and kind of kept under the below the belt secret, and the physical pain comes out and it's undeniably raw, and it becomes a metaphor for later psychological misery later on in the text. And as far as the values that are presented in the play, uh, it's sort of there's many threads weaved into this, and what's really highlighted and that comes to light is the assimilation to hostile conditions of wartime, the initiation into killing, and the grievous bodily harm that uh, forever puts a dent on the war in Vietnam permanently in the minds, and constitutes kind of a chilling feel that I was left with personally. And a word that I circled was senile. And the definition is having or showing the weakness or disease of old age and a loss of mental faculties. It just means it's describing the character of Grandpop, whose memory is fading with old age, and he recalls bits of his combat experience in Vietnam, and it prefigures what happens to his son and grandson later on. Question number 4. In regards to the depiction of the American soldier, it's really brutal and raw. Uh, but there's some form of faith and optimism, but for the most part, it goes unshown. And for example, Grandpa can't recall his uh, time in Korea beyond the music he played. Lighting up when talking about the flute conveys a sense that it was Bach that rerouted his mind from despair, so they hang on to anything they can to uh, avoid bad memories. And there's a sort of painful yet preserving lyricism as a result of this play, and it explores the dissonance in Elliott's life from a wider perspective, um, and it's just really really raw and tough to read. It was a tough read. And lastly, what is Fugue and how does it relate to the play? Does this play have a point of view on war and the soldier? Yes, Fugue is basically uh, a description of the sorrow and pain that all these characters feel in the traumatic experiences that they endure, and it shows war in a very negative light. And the last question I have is basically, what is war good for? What does it accomplish? I know it may be necessary in some instances, but I just don't understand why it's justifiable in society. And also, are there any other text out there that can relate to this play and show the anti-war viewpoint that I definitely side with? Thank you.